In the grand timeline of the Big Bang Theory, many threads were tied up beautifully: Sheldon's Nobel Prize, Penny and Leonard's pregnancy, Howard becoming a loving father, and Raj. Well, Raj got closer to love than ever before. But even as the final episode rolled its credits, there were a few subtle narratives left open-ended, some intentionally, some forgotten, some waiting patiently for the right moment. That moment came unexpectedly in a young Sheldon flash-forward episode, where an older Sheldon narrated a peculiar story. It was during Leonard's first marriage, yes, he had another one, that I saw someone from my past who I thought I'd never see again, and oddly, it wasn't the bride or groom who shocked me. Cut to present-day Pasadena. Leonard Hofstadter, several years post-Big Bang, finds himself at a crossroads. Though his marriage to Penny had started with promise, time, ambition, and unexpected detours pulled them apart. She became a successful pharmaceutical executive, traveling frequently, while Leonard grew increasingly attached to teaching and theoretical research. Their split wasn't explosive. It was quiet, mature, and mutual. But it left Leonard with a question that had long been buried under years of academic rivalry and forced friendships. Who was he outside of Sheldon, outside of Penny, outside of the friend group? Enter Claire, a soft-spoken physicist he meets at a quantum mechanics conference in Stockholm. She's brilliant, socially awkward in a refreshing way, and completely unaware of Leonard's past group dramas. A breath of fresh air. Their romance is slow, sincere, and grounded in shared respect for each other's work. When Leonard proposes, Claire says yes. When they set a date, Sheldon surprises everyone by agreeing to attend, and even more surprisingly, by asking if he can bring a +1. That +1 is Tam Nguyen. For those who followed young Sheldon, Tam was Sheldon's best friend in high school, someone who understood him, tolerated him, and perhaps, shaped him more than Sheldon ever admitted. Tam was absent in the Big Bang Theory, mentioned only once in a bitter throwaway line by Sheldon. He betrayed me. But the full story was never told. Now, here he is, standing in the small, private wedding hall in Pasadena, awkwardly holding a gift bag and adjusting his tie. Leonard doesn't recognize him at first, but Sheldon immediately announces, "This is Tam. We used to be best friends until he abandoned me for a girl. But I've since forgiven him, mostly because Amy said holding grudges contributes to early cognitive decline." Tam laughs. "Nice to meet you, Leonard. I've heard a lot about you." The wedding is small. Just a handful of colleagues, a few family members, and of course, the remnants of the old gang. Raj, still single, Howard and Bernadette, thrilled to have a kid-free evening, and Sheldon and Amy. Penny declines the invite, respectfully. As the reception winds down, Leonard finds himself sitting beside Tam, both watching Sheldon attempt to give an impromptu speech that turns into a debate about entropy. "You knew him as a teenager?" Leonard asks, sipping champagne. "Yep," Tam replies. "He was exactly the same, honestly, but also different." "How so?" "He used to believe in people back then," Tam says, not unkindly. "He hadn't been hurt yet. He hadn't been dismissed by peers, professors, or me." Leonard tilts his head. "What really happened between you two?" Tam sighs. "I fell in love. Wanted to stay in Texas. He thought we'd go to Caltech together. I chose a girl. He chose the stars. I didn't realize until years later how much he counted on us sticking together." Leonard nods slowly, thinking of his own journey, of being pulled into Sheldon's orbit, often unwillingly, and yet somehow becoming a permanent satellite. He was pretty upset about it. "I tried to reach out," Tam adds. "Wrote letters, emails, even found him on Friendster. Nothing. He erased me. Until last year, out of the blue, he sent me a one-line email. 'I now understand why you did it. That's all.'" Leonard smiles. That sounds like him. The moment lingers. Leonard thinks about how much of Sheldon's life had been shaped by the people who came and went. Missy, George, Meemaw, his dad's memory, and Tam. Tam, who once represented hope for friendship, companionship, and loyalty. All things Sheldon never quite learned how to process. And perhaps, just perhaps, Tam's reappearance now, in Leonard's first marriage, symbolizes something more than nostalgia. It symbolizes closure. Tam doesn't make a dramatic re-entry. There's no yelling, no tears, no big sitcom moment. Instead, he's simply present. Quiet, grounded, forgiving. And in that presence, Sheldon changes, subtly, but undeniably. During dessert, Sheldon approaches Leonard, who's quietly watching Claire dance with Amy. "She's tolerable," Sheldon says. "That's the nicest thing you've ever said about someone I've dated," Leonard replies. "I'm evolving." Leonard chuckles. "Tam seems nice." "I agree." I've recalculated the probabilities. He was not a traitor. He was human. Like the rest of you. Leonard raises an eyebrow. Didn't expect that. I didn't either, Sheldon admits, but it feels freeing. That night, after the wedding, Leonard returns home with Claire, content and at peace. He doesn't know if this marriage will be forever. No one really does, but he knows it's starting from an honest place. Meanwhile, Sheldon sits with Amy in their hotel room. He's uncharacteristically quiet. Amy touches his hand. What's on your mind? I think, he says carefully, I was wrong about how friendships are supposed to work. I used to think they were constants. But maybe they're variables, changing values that still belong in the same equation. Amy smiles. That's beautiful. It's math, he replies, but he smiles too. Final thoughts. Tam's return in Leonard's first marriage offers something the Big Bang Theory finale didn't fully explore. The long-term effects of early friendships on Sheldon's psyche, and the possibility of growth even after bitterness. It's not about reuniting the gang or undoing past storylines. It's about quiet resolutions, those soft closures that don't need laugh tracks or applause. And in doing so, one story ends, not with a bang, but with understanding. Let me know if you'd like a version where another young Sheldon character returns, like Paige, Missy, or Meemaw, or if you want a more humorous tone.